And then mission.
Goodness.
Also, until Vic says anything, I'm gonna at least remain quiet. Oh, I'm gonna at least mute my
Yes.
side, because it is narrator and player. That is the. That is how we played for Sakura's. That's how they played it for mine. So you get the same respect, Blank.
Do you mean you guys saw each other's zero session and I wasn't around?
Sakura's I did in the middle of the night. We were
I
up. We
know,
started
you
She
at
did.
night
11
owls.
p.m. and then we went till like 7 a.m.
See, she did this without telling me. She just was like, "Oh yeah, we did it." I'm like, "I'm hurt. I'm so shook."
It just
right
happened
now.
off the cuff because we finished his
I'm
sheet
so
and then it was like
shook.
But Vincent heard Sakura's
No.
and yeah.
You gave me a
other way around.
nutshell.
Other way around. Sakura heard Vincent's. My mistake.
Yeah, Sakura gave me a minor nutshell.
Oh whoa.
Oh whoa.
Hello.
How are you, Sakura?
I ate too much pasta. How are you?
I'm okay. How was Final Fantasy?
It was fine. Not really.
I prefer.
There's always more.
Yeah, I already finished
Didn't do
up
a
my.
lot.
I already set up my free trial,
Look at you.
and I already made a character.
One by one, I'll just get you up.
How dare you do that without telling me? I'm
Hey,
hurt.
Vic, I made it. To be fair, you didn't even message me as soon as you got home. You're like, I'll
I know
message
because
you when I get
crashed.
home.
My Wi-Fi was acting up, so I couldn't call.
I don't hear excuses
Wait.
because
Either way, I still would have stolen Vic from you.
yeah, and then I would have fallen asleep and I'd be like, one is the loneliest number that I ever
And then I
knew.
would have said, Vic, I will shove us, Vic. Vince, I will shove this eraser. It's because, like, when I've been talking about you guys, I just say Vin and Vic.
I just say Shin.
My mom only knows you by Shin, and that's the only way I refer to you as when I'm talking to her.
Oh.
But everyone else to you is like Vince.
I mean, there's minor exceptions.
Like Vivi.
God damn it, yes. I meant the exception in terms of people less than call me Shin still. I think that's Mad. Mad still calls me Shin. Kisa still refers to me as Shin, even though last time I talked to her, she wanted a favor.
Now do me a favor.
No.
You will do this favor I ask.
At least say how am I doing, not hey, I need you a favor. Oh god, I'm putting someone on
Hey.
full blast.
Hey, that's my way of.
Sorry
that's
in
my way
advance.
of.
Oh dear. Well,
Muted.
for you, Vincent and Sakura, if you can remain quiet while we are going through this, I may need you later on in the story as it progresses. We will see how events transpire, but oh my goodness.
You like random side voices you don't want to do.
Yes, 'cause we want to focus on the roleplay. Also, I'm gonna keep Discord up. I'll flip back and forth between that and the stream. But anyway, hungry, how dare you? But for the time being, let's go ahead and get started. To anyone that tunes in, welcome. This is our session 0 of Vampire the Masquerade Solemn Nights for Blank's character, Luna. Prior to the events of the story that is soon to come, we are going to do a little walk through her normal routine before her life gets turned on its head, forcing her into cooperation with our coterie as they explore the mysteries of the night. And without further ado, I will get started. As the sun sets below the horizon, the air becomes chill and traffic slowly stops from the bustle of the day. People return home from work and settle into their normal lives, and meanwhile, in your condo, you are just awakening to the night. You rise from slumber, shake off the dreariness that always comes from your daytime rest, and you take a moment to reflect on the previous day's events. as well as your plans for the day ahead. And as you awake, I need you to make a rouse check for me to see if you have gained any hunger. So on your character sheet, you can go to the bottom left corner, and there you will find a little button right here.
I think, yeah, I hit it, and it was a number 500 thing.
Okay. Yeah, you did one when we were testing it before, but go ahead and give me a fresh
Oh,
one.
did I? Okay. There you go.
Hunger gained. So unfortunately, as you stretch and try to uncoil your body, you feel the beast within growling and pacing. It is hungry for sustenance and urges you to go out into the night. But you probably have some things to do, don't you? Any appointments this evening that you need to keep?
I'm going to call Raven and ask her if I have any scheduled fortune telling to do.
Hey, Crow. How you doing?
The phone rings a handful of times before she picks up. Hello, this is Raven. How can I help you?
Hi, Raven. It's Luna. I'm wondering if I have any appointments today.
Luna, it's so good to hear from you. You have one for tonight. It should be an easy one. You know old Miss Goldstein. She is back again, and she's just looking for advice. So I told her you'd be available this evening. I hope that's all right.
That's fine. I'll be down there momentarily.
And is there anything else I can do for you?
Not really. Just come pick me up if you can.
All right, I'll be right there. And she hangs up the phone. It's a short distance from your condo to your shop, but it'll probably take her 5 minutes or so to get here, assuming she moves promptly.
While I'm waiting, I'm gonna get all dressed up and be ready.
And as you dress, you notice that you have a message on your answering machine.
Oh boy, how does one answer an answering machine? Just kidding. I'm gonna listen to the message.
Okay. It's a familiar male voice. You've heard it many times before. Another of your fellow neonates at the chantry. Luna, I've got something big. I need you to come and talk to me, call me, whatever. Get here as soon as you can. This is big. All right. See you later. Hangs up the phone.
Do I know his name? Just by his voice?
You do, but it could be one of a couple people. Definitely would recognize it if you saw them in person. There's a handful of neonates there at the chantry at present, and you socialize with them on occasion, but as you've maintained your business, you aren't there all the time, not quite as much as the rest of them.
I will call him back.
Okay. The phone rings a handful of times. And it goes to answering machine. Did not pick up.
I'm not gonna leave voice. I'm just gonna hang up and just sigh.
Yep.
Like, it's probably not important if you just didn't pick up.
Yes. Around this time, a Raven knocks on your front door, and you know it's her because she has a very distinctive sharp tap and a couple of short taps.
I'm gonna call out to Draven to let her in. You're like, Draven, darling, please let her in.
He promptly opens the door, allowing her to flow past him, and as he sees the setting of the sun, he follows her inside. Draven is very sharply dressed, wearing a button-up suit, and you can see the distinctive bulge of his sidearm underneath his jacket. Raven is as thin and beautiful as ever. She is heavily scented with perfumes that you have made for her. And her long hair swishes over her shoulders with a few flowers tucked into her braid.
And I just walk over and give Raven a big hug. Like, it's so nice to see you.
Oh, it's so nice to see you too. Oh, well, I told Mrs. Goldstein that we would be right back, but whenever you're ready, mistress.
I'm gonna walk over and start putting like my tarot cards into my bag and throw it over my shoulder while I'm doing that. I'm asking her how, like, Raven, how's the business been while I've been asleep?
It's booming as usual. We had 10 regulars in today, and let's see here. Maria bought another bottle of that expensive perfume that you recommended to her, as well as a little satchel of potpourri. We sold 4 copies of the hardback natural remedies text that you've been pushing, and I think the sales are going very well. And she rattles on and on about sales and business and nothing out of the ordinary.
Wonderful. I'm so glad it's still running while I'm not there. Shall we get going?
Of course, after you.
I'm
And
just
Raven
gonna.
holds open the door for both of you. With you away from the condo, he will remain at his post until you tell him otherwise.
Okay.
And
I'm
as
just
you
gonna be
head
like,
into the...
Draven, make sure you keep the place nice.
Of course, ma'am. He straightens up and gives you a little slight bow before heading inside to begin tidying things up.
I like the little note you said where he's pulling Chippa's arm.
Just a little bit. But
Yeah.
heading into the elevator, you are very quickly on the ground floor, and there is a car waiting outside. And you never told me, but what kind of car do you drive? Something classy?
Yeah, I'm not really much of a card knowing person.
Of course, but it's functional and it looks very svelte and sleek, and it gets you where you need to go. And model names are for other people. But Raven opens the back door and allows you to climb inside. She circles around to the driver's side, steps in, and you are off. It's a very short drive over to the shop, and this time of night, there's not much traffic. It's just past sundown, so there's still people out and about, but it's going to be some hours before we really get to the dead of night when the streets are empty.
I'll just be checking on my phone just to see if I get any messages while she takes me there.
Nothing, unfortunately. You check to see if there's any more messages, but so far, none. Just the one frantic phone call that was not there when you tried calling back.
I'm just gonna casually be like, Raven dear, remind me that I need to call back this one person.
Of course, who is it?
I'm not sure, just remind me after the session that I need to call someone back.
Of course. In relative silence, she drives you the rest of the way to your shop and hops out of the car to open your door for you. And the shop is still open despite the time of night. Of course, you work all hours, and customers are accustomed to coming past normal closing times for businesses in order to seek your guidance and to hear the knowledge that you have to impart to them. Inside, as soon as the door swings open, the sense of perfume and potpourri and herbs overwhelms your senses. Very tasteful, of course, but it is a little much for someone who's not used to it.
Just gonna inhale and be like, I never get tired of the store smell.
It's just
And
like
then
coming
I'm
home.
gonna just walk over to the fortune telling table and I'm just gonna start setting up.
All right. And Miss Gladstone will be here in about 10 minutes. She has to walk, and she has a bad hip, so it always takes her a little longer.
Oh dear. Well, maybe you can try to persuade her in taking home one of our remedies for pains.
I think that we can sell her a combo pack. I'm sure it would be very helpful for her. And she gives you a knowing look.
Wonderful. I'll try to run it by her first.
Are you going to do anything while you wait for Miss Goldstein to arrive?
I'm probably just gonna just make myself some tea really quick.
To drink or just to have present on the table?
Just to drink to just relax while I wait.
And of course, as a vampire, it's very difficult to keep down food and
Oh,
drink.
that's right. That's right.
Are
Forgot
you going to
do it.
use Blush of Life to maintain the illusion of drinking it? Or
No, I'm gonna make it, but I'm gonna pour half of it and just sit it on the table to make it look like I drank something.
Of course. It's
I
good to
keep
keep up appearances.
forgetting he's a vampire.
You're new to this. It hasn't
I'll
been that
remember
long. You know, we always have our habits, things that we unintentionally do that remind us of our old lives. But
Yes.
nonetheless, you set up with your tea and perhaps drain a little bit out of the teacup so it looks as though it's been drunk from. And before long, Miss Goldstein arrives at the door. She's a sweet little lady with curly white hair, a bit of a hunch, and she has a cane to support herself. But she's so excited to see you when she comes in. Luna, it's been too long.
It's so great to see her, and I get up and go give her a nice hug.
She hugs you right back. And with a bit of a trembling hand, she settles herself into her seat at the table. Are you going to offer her some of that tea?
Yes, I'm gonna be like, would you like some tea?
Oh,
Maybe?"
yes, please.
I'm gonna look over to Raven and be like, Raven, can you be a dear and make her some tea?
Raven snaps to it without hesitation. Within minutes, she has returned and set a new cup of tea on the table for Miss Goldstein.
So, what are we gonna be doing for you today?
And she gets, an uneasy look in her eye. She shuffles a little bit in her chair and she says, I've been feeling so worried lately. Oh, my boy, I haven't seen him in such a long time. He's in the military, and he's been over in Syria, and I haven't heard from him in ages, and I would feel so much better just knowing that he's okay.
Rightfully so. Alright then. Whenever you're ready, we will begin.
Okay, and she's done this with you many times, so she places her hands on the table, palms up.
I'm just gonna ask her to close her eyes, and then I'm gonna start the process.
Okay, she closes them, looking instantly relieved, just being in your presence and knowing that you're going to guide her.
I'm just gonna calmly talk to her and be like, I want you to focus on the one thing you want and nothing else. Just clear your mind and think of that one thing.
And you can tell that she sees it so clearly. She having her son back with her.
And I'm just gonna, we'll just skip the whole process and be like, she lays out the 3 cards.
Yes.
And she just turns them over and examines them.
And for fun, give me let's see, occult plus wits roll.
Occult. Alright. Plus wits?
And no modifier. This is a very low difficulty. She is enraptured with everything you're telling her. 3 successes. So you look at the cards. There is death. There is the Fool, and there is the Tower. These are ill omens. That tells of dramatic change, upheaval, someone at the start of a journey, and catastrophe that is on the horizon.
Luna's just gonna look down and frown, and she's gonna look at her and she's gonna think momentarily. What are my...
You could try to spin this in a positive manner. You could do a persuasion plus charisma.
I wanna attempt to do persuasion plus charisma.
Okay, just, she'll believe anything you tell her pretty much. So just giving her a nice positive spin on the way things could go. Oh dear. Would you like to use a willpower to try that again?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a 3d10 roll.
I would go to chat, right?
Or I can go ahead and roll it for you.
Can you please?
Yes. And that is... Oh dear. She's been here enough that she knows all of these cards, and she just quavers and her hands are shaking, and she's looking very distressed about this before you even have the chance to say a word.
I might just grab the cards and hold them in my hand and look down and look up at her with remorse.
But is there any hope at all? I know that the cards aren't always right, but I can't help worrying. Oh, my poor boy. And you can see she's tearing up a little bit.
Oh man, I kind of want her to forget.
Would you like to cloud her memory of that card drawing?
Yes, I would be like, let's just forget about these cards.
Her eyelids flutter, and after a moment, she looks back up and she kind of wipes confusedly at her eye. There's a little bit of tears there. Oh, dear me, I don't know why I'm so emotional. I guess I'm just glad to see you.
I am so glad to see you too. And I'm just gonna shuffle the cards and make sure she doesn't see the 3 cards.
Yes.
Could I possibly try to pull some cards and hopefully they be good ones?
You can certainly try to manipulate the deck in order to get the ones that you want. You could give me a, let me see here, wits plus occult. Or maybe give me performance plus wits.
Plus wits?
Yes. And 1 success. Maybe your technique is a little bit rusty. Maybe she kind of sees you pull the cards that you want from the deck, but she is ready to believe you when you lay down all of the best cards she could hope for. The 7 of Cups sucker is on the way, and you see that, the 5 of Swords is upside down, indicating that it has been inverted, so positive things are coming, an end to violence, and you do still see death, but death is not always bad. It indicates change on the horizon, which possibly means that he might be returning home. And she breathes a huge sigh of relief. And she tears up again, but not sadly this time. She just looks into your eyes and she is ecstatic and exuberant. And oh, thank you so much. Oh, I feel so much better.
You're so welcome.
And she reaches across the table to just, give you the best embrace she can.
And then I'm just gonna get up and kind of help her up from her chair, and I'll also be like, is there anything else you need? Are you in pain? We got some best herbal remedies.
Well, my back has been hurting lately. I feel like I'm just getting more rickety with age.
Would you like our package? It might help. It might ease the pain.
And
It'll
she
probably
is
feel
so
fresh.
receptive to everything you say. She is just eager to take whatever advice you want to give her, and she'll buy anything that you suggest.
I'm gonna look over to Raven and be like, Raven, please get her the best medicine we can get her.
Of course, ma'am. And please come over here, Miss Goldstein. I'll help you pick out several things that will ease your pain. And she does so very quickly, ringing up a total that is probably more than Miss Goldstein planned to spend, but she is happy to do so regardless, and she leaves with a large smile on her face.
I'm just gonna smile and wave like as I watch her walk away out of view, and I'm just gonna sit in the chair and sigh.
Raven comes to your side and places a hand on your shoulder. Are you all right, ma'am?
She just looks so sad. I had to lie to her.
We do what we must. I I don't think anyone knows that better than you. Your judgment is always correct.
Yes. But it's so painful to lie to such a sweet old lady.
But she left smiling, didn't she?
She did. Hopefully the medicines will help her.
I'm sure they will, and she just looks absolutely sure of it.
Is there any other appointments that I'm expecting?
That was all for tonight. Well, you have several lined up for the next couple days, but no more for this evening.
I'm just gonna pull out the phone and try to redial that number, see if someone will pick up this time.
After 4 long rings, finally the phone is answered. Hello? Luna?
Yes.
Oh, finally I've been able to reach you. I've been ringing you all day, and if you care to check, you do in fact see that you have 7 missed calls from this number.
Oh, I am so sorry. My phone was on silent. I am really sorry.
Well, it's okay. I'm an early riser after all, so I need you to come by the chantry. I have something really exciting, and I need your help. And he sounds truly desperate. He is very passionate about this, whatever it is.
I'm just gonna be like, is it bad? Is it
No, no,
good?
no, 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 not bad. It's good. It's great. It's exactly what we need.
All right, my schedule's clear, so I'll head over.
Oh, perfect. All right. I'll see you when you get here. And he hangs up the phone.
I'm just gonna turn to Raven. It's like, we have another stop to go to.
Very well, ma'am. Where are we headed?
You said it was Chantry, right?
The chantry, yes.
Chantry. We shall be heading to the Chantry. Oh my god. I'll get it.
Yes. And so, without hesitation, she shuts down the shop, turns off all the lights except for the one that you leave on to discourage any thieves you might want to break in, and makes her way to the door where she escorts you to the car. She drives you through the city toward Queen Anne, and she knows this route very well. You've made this trip more than a few times. Up here pretty regularly, heading to the same grand building that sits on the hill. And there are many people out tonight. It seems like today is particularly bustling. It's a Friday evening, and so people are off work, enjoying their time out on the town. Most of the nightlife is over closer to where you live on Broadway, but over here, things are still fairly upbeat. pulling into an old house, you find your way up to the front door and you enter without hesitation.
I'm tell Raven to stay in the car.
Yes.
I'll try to be back as fast as I can.
Okay, I will wait for you. Inside, there is a grand staircase, lavish furnishings, statues everywhere depicting everything from ancient scholars to a kindred of old to figures from lore that perhaps never existed but have been sculpted in marble anyway. There are books absolutely everywhere. And to a first glance from an outsider, it would seem to be an art museum almost, or a very lavishly decorated library.
Do I see anyone I recognize?
There are a few other neonates milling around. One of them catches your eye and waves. She seems very cheerful, but then she turns and goes back to her studies. There's an elder walking down the corridor. Not many of them speak to you aside from your sire. They all have their own business and their own studies that they're always working on. But down from the staircase runs a thin young man with horn-rimmed glasses. Luna, finally you're here.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna step back from from how fast he was running towards me, like as a response, like, "Hey, how are you?"
Oh, I'm great. And he is very cheerful and full of life. He wears this thin tweed jacket and he looks very rough. He obviously spends a lot of his time in study and not much time caring about his appearance.
Do I know this person's name?
Yes, you do. His name is Leo, and he is another neonate at the Chantry. You've had some lessons with him. Typically, your sire will be educating you and several others, and he has aided you in your studies every now and then. Not particularly close friends, perhaps, but he certainly seems to think you are.
I'm just gonna remove the sunglasses and be like, "So, what is this that you've been dying to show me since you called me 7 times?"
He looks around, at the other neonates and the elders in the halls, and he says, "We can't talk here. This is something that should be discussed in private." And he beckons you to come with him to a alcove out away from the entrance.
Right? I'm just gonna look around and then just follow Leo.
Okay. Once you arrive, there are comfortable cushions and seating. Many candles are lit. There's electrical lighting, of course, in the building, but this is more for ambiance. And he plops down on the seat beside you. All right, so mm, this might sound crazy, but I've heard through the grapevine that something very interesting has arrived at the local art museum. Don't ask me how I know, but they say that there's a tomb on Golconda.
Tomb? And
Mm.
lean closer to him, giving him the look of, "Tell me more, give me the details."
Yeah, he is trying to process his thoughts. He seems like he's unsure of how exactly to explain this. Hmm, because this is a new term for you. Perhaps one that you've heard once or twice, but nothing that has any deeper meaning. And he stares at you before deciding to explain from the beginning. All right, so I've been doing extensive research to see if there is anything that can be done about this unfortunate state that we live in. The world is a dangerous place, and kindred societies even more dangerous. And I I've been thinking lately that we need some way out if worst comes to worst. I mean out. you can't trust anybody around here. Once again, he casts a shifty look back towards the entrance, where you could swear that the eyes of the other neonate at the desk glanced in your direction.
I'm
It's
just gonna look back and then look at him and like motion to like lower your voice a little bit more.
yeah. Wow. This could be that way out. They say that any kindred who achieves the state of Golconda might be able to return to their human life, or at least something close enough that it'll suffice. You can try and live your life as a saint if you want to remain human, but let's face it, nobody's good enough to do that. If you've tried it, have always failed and given into their dark urges eventually, this could actually be a way to break free from this curse. And he just looks positively radiant about this idea. He is beaming.
I kind of shoot him a concerned look, but I ask him if he could like show me some stuff about it.
And he is eager to supply. He has page after page of notes. He produces several books from various pockets and all these hastily little scrawled notes inside and very tight, delicate writing. And he explains as he's leafing through them. So it's unknown. It's only a myth at this point, but they say that it's possible for any kindred to achieve this state. It's not even hard from the what little I've gleaned. It's mostly a matter of having the knowledge and being willing to apply it. And according to what my source tells me, and I can't guarantee it's true, there is a shipment that just arrived at the museum, and by accident, a piece of knowledge from the old world was included inside. And I have it on good authority that that is what I'm after.
And how do you think you're gonna get it?
Well, I'm not sure. There's always one of the Baron's lackeys in there, and he looks very upset about this, but I think I have an in. I. I'm going to talk to the prince about this. I'm going to see what he thinks, and he'll probably dismiss it as nothing but rumors, but maybe I can hit his authority to go check it out.
And just gonna like put a hand on his shoulder and like, do you think it's a really good idea to talk to the prince? What if he punishes you instead of dismissing it?
And he looks genuinely fearful at this, but he steels himself and he says, "It's worth the risk. I I can't go on like this, Luna. I've tried. God, I've tried for such a long time to make this work, but I can't. I I'm so tired of living every day like an animal, having to feed on blood in order to slake this hunger that's always inside. I need a way out."
It's just sighs and it's just please be careful, and if you need anything, just give me a call and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, fine. I'll be careful. And, if you're still interested, I'll share what I know with you. Because you're one of the good ones here, Luna. All of these other selfish licks, they just want to grow their own power. They don't care the Second Inquisition is coming to burn down this chantry any day now. It's only a matter of time. I hear they've already been targeting the Nosferatu. I don't know how they're going to get to them, but I wouldn't put it past them. They took out everyone in London, so it's only a matter of time before it happens here. And he looks very agitated about this, but he stands up straightens his jacket, and he says, I'm off. Wish me luck.
Good luck, and text me if you find anything new.
I will. And he practically runs out the door.
Oh boy. I hope nothing happens to him now.
So now that you are here, what would you like to do? Have a look around, perhaps go and try to find your sire?
Yeah, I'm gonna go try to find Fame.
Okay. You know where he tends to be in the back corners of the chantry, deep in a tome about ancient blood magics. He is one of the types that Leo is so agitated about, always looking for knowledge, always trying to expand his understanding of thaumaturgy. He is a very dedicated scholar, for better and worse. As you enter the room, the musty smell of old tomes fills your nostrils, and there he is in his usual spot. And he looks up briefly before he returns to reading. Oh, hello, Luna.
Oh, hi, Fame. And she's just gonna pull up a chair right next to him, let you read him, and just trying to be obviously kind of trying to annoy him.
Oh, just something on rituals. You know, I'm trying to enhance my repertoire of abilities. This one teaches how to wake with the evening's freshness. I've been sleeping in late these days, and I need something to keep me safe should anyone make any moves against my person. And he has a little stack of bones and rooster feathers sitting off to the side that he clearly intends to use in some sort of spell.
Oh, honey, I always have sense you can always use. I don't know why you worry so much, but I did come to bug you for a certain reason.
Yes, what is it, my child? Is there anything I can do for you? He
What's it
sets down the
called
book.
again?
What are you
Like
like?
the
Oh,
the thing that Leo said.
you're gonna ask him about Golconda?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna mention Leo. I'm just gonna ask in general just
Hmm.
about it. I'm just gonna be like, I heard some rumors about this, and I'm wondering if you know a little bit more about it. I'm always looking for new knowledge.
Hmm. Well, you know, that sort of knowledge is the one kind that we don't pursue here. I mean, he laughs a little bit and looks at you. Why would we want to give up all that we have here? We've built a real life for ourselves. We study the intricacies of the vitae. We learn the deepest secrets of the blood, and we are masters of this world if we have the drive to seek that power. You've had a taste of it, haven't you, my dear?
Oh yes, very. But I just love a good gossip.
Well, if you are curious to know, it's a myth. Every culture has their myths and things to drive people to ambition, whether for good or ill. And that is certainly the kind of myth that I could see many falling prey to in the modern world. It's not easy, the life we have, but its rewards are great. So put such foolishness from your mind. Trying to return to being one of the kind is as worthy of a pursuit as becoming a chicken farmer. I don't know why you would bother.
I'm
And
not trying to pursue it. I just, I hear gossip. I love to get the juicy details about it.
hmm, well, you can tell those other neonates that they need to focus on their studies more and less on old wives' tales. But tell me, is there anything else I can do for you? Is there anything that you need?
Mm, I could always look for a good spot to hang out and,
Do a little
spread
study?
my name. Oh yeah, I'm studying too. Duh.
No, he looks at you and he sees what you want. Studying, yes, I see what you really want. Well, I can give you some pointers on spreading your influence as well. And he launches into a lecture about everything he's learned. He is, of course, a reputable fashion model when he's not studying. His appearance and his behavior are typically at odds, but his chiseled jaw and strong features always have been attractive, and he's been featured in more than a few magazine spreads. And he tells you that he can probably put you in touch with one of his producers if you're ever interested in anything of that sort.
Oh, I'm always up for that.
He hands you a business card and tells you to give them a call, but maybe have your ghoul do it. They usually are closed during our hours.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. And I wave the card as a goodbye and I walk off.
Mhm. And he gestures with a couple of fingers before going back to his reading.
Uh, I'm probably just gonna explore this place.
All right. There are many things to do and to see here. As I said, there are books literally everywhere. Every room has tomes stacked in large piles, very neatly for the most part. It's not by any means disorganized, but there are simply so many that there's not enough places to put all of them. And so you can make your way to the basement where the old stores are kept, the old lore, and that's where you'll find many of the elders. And up on the upper floors, there are the residences for the neonates who live here. The elders typically spend their entire lives at the chantry once they reach a certain age. And of course, there is the regent, who is always eager to see any neonates who have questions.
Can I go down to the basement and see if I can find more information?
Absolutely. In the back corner, beyond a room that might have been a kitchen when this was a mortal dwelling, there is a stone doorway with some old steps. And they're dusty, but they've been swept every now and then. And a few cobwebs, and there's no natural lighting down here. It's very dark. Hmm. Would you like to activate heightened senses?
Yes.
All right, so you enhance your senses, and suddenly the darkness becomes less oppressive. You can see as well as you could upstairs as you make your way into the depths of the basement. There's just enough light creeping down from above that you're able to make your way through the piles of old documents, boxes filled with relics, and the occasional weapon stand with intricate daggers and swords. And give me a, let's see, intelligence plus awareness check.
Awareness and intelligence.
2 successes, so there are a few things that stand out to you. It's difficult to tell in all this darkness, but you see a old tome that looks like it might be from the 17th century Europe. There's another little stack of boxes with trinkets that look like they might be warding relics or perhaps something for another ritual.
Can I go look at the trinkets?
Okay. Would you like to leaf through them and see if there's anything useful to you?
Yes.
Okay, so give me an occult plus intelligence.
Okay. Occult. Intelligence. I really hope I pressed the right one.
Looks good. 2 successes. A bunch of it seems like It's old junk. It could just be the lighting, of course. It's hard to tell one thing from another down here, but you do find several things that are interesting. There is an old stone with a rune painted on it. There is a vial of what looks like old dried blood. And there's also a shiny dagger. It has a little symbol etched into the hilt.
Ooh, can I get the dagger?
By all means. Would you like to pick it up and add it to your satchel?
Yes.
It doesn't have a any kind of a sheath or a scabbard, so unfortunately you're gonna have to be a little careful with it. But nonetheless, you pick it up and place it into your bag.
What else did you say was down here?
You can continue looking through the piles of books. There's a one tome that stood out to you, looked like it was a bit old, maybe from, 16th century Europe, 15th century.
I'm gonna walk over to the tome
Okay.
and examine it.
All right. It's difficult to read much of anything down here, even with your heightened senses, so you'd probably be best grabbing it and taking it upstairs.
Okay, I'm gonna grab it and then head upstairs.
Okay. Well, back in the light, you probably want to deactivate your heightened senses because even the
Yes.
faint candlelight is very bright after
I'm
coming up
gonna
from the darkness.
deactivate my heightened senses.
Okay. And so would you like to find a nice reading spot to settle in with the book?
Yes. Somewhere like away from people.
And as you study this tome, I'd like an academics plus intelligence. And 5 successes.
Ooh.
This this tome has no mysteries for you. It's written in Old English, but you have no trouble reading that whatsoever. You leaf through it, and it speaks of a long forgotten kindred from several hundred years ago. The book isn't quite as old as it looked at first glance. It is yellowed and the pages are fraying, but other than that, it's pretty well intact. It says that this kindred committed heinous acts and was banished to the Shadowlands as a result. Their legend still persists to this day, although not many are sure if it's authentic or if it was purely hearsay to warn young kindred of the dangers of seeking power too greedily. Nothing that stands out as particularly useful, but an interesting bit of history to hang on to.
Okay.
And as you are studying this tome, a neonate runs up to you, and they say, "The regent is looking for you. He asked if you could meet him up in his office. It's on the 3rd floor."
Okay. I'm just
Mm.
gonna.
They scuttle away before you could say anything else.
Is the tome like heavy or is it just
Not
light?
particularly. You could always hang on to it if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slip it into the satchel and just head up the 3rd.
All right. So you make your way up the stairs. They are remarkably soundless in many of these old houses. The boards creak as you make your way, but these are completely silent, perfect for moving around at the dead of night without raising a ruckus. But up on the 3rd floor, there are only a few rooms, and most of the space is taken up by a very large office. Inside, there is a enormous mahogany desk with just countless books overflowing from it. They literally cascade from the desk onto the floor in stacks and heaps. There are ritual components in bins around the room. There's this pungent scent of old must and animal parts, and it smells like a witch's hut in here. And behind the desk is a gaunt figure. And he studies you down the brim of his long nose and adjusts his glasses. Oh, Luna, you're here. I'm glad that you came.
Yes, you called?
Well, I have had a word with your sire, and we have an errand that we would like you to run. This is not something I ask lightly. As a neonate of this chantry, I value all of your hard work. I'm so pleased to see that you're hungry for knowledge and always looking for new opportunities. And I want to make sure that you have all the opportunities that you deserve. And he gestures you to sit down at this rather plush chair in front of his desk.
I'm just gonna walk over there and just sit down and just place my hands on my lap and just wait for him to continue.
There's been quite a bit of fuss lately at the local college. They keep insisting that there's some kind of pest on the premises. They won't tell me what it is, which makes it very difficult to ascertain what kind of resources I should allot to this problem. But since it is technically within the domain of Elder Price, we have to deal with this. Mm, He answers to me, and I answer to the prince, and thus it is my responsibility. But I trust you, Luna, and so I would like you to go and investigate for me, if you please.
Yes, I will right away.
Thank you. I knew I could count on you, and he gives you a very toothy smile. And how are your studies coming, by the way?
Oh, they're coming along very well.
Your master says that you're particularly smitten with the dominate discipline. That's one of my favorites, but you're very lacking in blood magic. I am a little disappointed. Hmm. But it's okay. You are with us, and you have the rest of your unlife to study all of the intricacies of our art. Hmm. Just keep it in mind, if you will.
I will.
Very good. And he gestures toward the door, if you please.
Just gonna walk up. Get up and walk out the door.
All right. Going to do anything else before you leave?
Um, no, I think I'm just gonna walk outside to Raven and tell
All
her
right.
that I need to go to the college.
She is standing at attention beside the car, and as soon as you approach, she opens the door and allows you to enter before she moves to the other side, starting it up and pulling away. It's not a very long drive from the Chantry to the local college, just down the road practically. And this time of night, around 11 p.m., there are a decent number of students milling around. It's a Friday night after all, and many of them are enjoying themselves. It's a private college, and they have strict rules on the conduct of the students, but they still allow them to have fun as long as it's within reason. And you haven't been given many details on what to pursue here, but you do know from experience that there is someone on the premises you should go see, the groundskeeper, one Eugene Finch.
I'm gonna step out of the car and tell Raven to wait there as
Mhm.
I put on the sunglasses and head to Eugene.
He can be found as always in his small house on the outskirts of the campus. It's a very modest one-story building, large enough for him to live in fairly comfortably, but not much more than that. The paint is peeling a little bit on the sides, but the lawn is very well cared for.
He's inside the house.
You can hear sounds of a television on inside.
I'm gonna walk up to the door and knock on it and be like, Eugene, can you open the
After.
door?
Oh, of course, I'm coming. You can hear hurried footsteps, and the door swings wide open. There's a man in his 40s with a little bit of a beer belly. He's wearing a loose flannel shirt and a pair of ragged jeans, but his face lights up as he sees you. Oh, hey, Luna, I haven't seen you in forever. What
Hey,
brings you out here?
well, I heard that there's been a pest, and
Ugh, yeah, you've got that right. It's just driving me mad. Here, come inside. He looks around and gestures you in.
I walk in.
Hmm. We can't talk very loudly around here. There's always some student nearby, I swear. I can never have a moment to myself without someone walking directly behind me. The one time I say anything about ghouls or princes, and they always give me inquisitive looks. I swear, I am so close to a masquerade breach, and I. It's very stressful, you know?
So he's a he is a
He
vampire.
is a ghoul, and you've had
Oh, he's
interactions with
cool.
him in the past. He is perhaps not the most tight-lipped of servants, but he does work well. He has been serving the local elder for as long as you have been in the clan, which, to be fair, isn't that long.
How does his house look?
Inside, it's a little messy. He tries to keep things orderly, but there are a few beer cans here and there. There looks like there's an old pizza box sitting by the trash can waiting to be taken out. Maybe a few newspapers scattered on the floor. He is not the most cleanly, but it's not a bad house. It's not particularly run down. He does care for it to an extent.
I'm gonna go sit over on a chair and
Mm.
gesture to him to please continue about this pest problem that's been going on.
Of course, he takes a seat opposite you, and he just kind of puts his head in his hand, rubs his face a little bit. I am at my wit's end. I don't know what is happening, but something is making a rather large stir out here. There have been sightings of wild animals on campus, though never there when I arrive. There have been. I can only describe them as gopher holes, but I know there are no gophers here because I have worked very hard to keep them off the premises. Just enormous mounds of dirt churned up from beneath, and I don't know if this is the work of a gangrel or something worse, but if you could just take a look for me and see if there's anything that would help me out immensely, then I can talk to my master and we can get this sorted and things can go back to normal. And he laughs a
Certainly.
little uneasily.
Have any of these students seen something probably describe?
They
They're
all
very,
say
very.
that they've seen either a rather mangy dog or they've seen rats larger than anything they've ever seen before. One even reported that they saw glowing eyes in the darkness at the edge of the quad, but I don't know what to believe because I've heard so many conflicting stories.
I'm just gonna let out a sigh and just like, ugh, I hope it's not rats.
Hmm, I hope so too. They are notoriously hard to get rid of.
Is
Well,
there anyone I should talk to first?
yes, there is another of the Baron's schools on campus, and he says this with a little bit of reluctance. He is clearly at odds with this person. Um, Her name is Clarissa, and she works in the administrative building. So if you'd like to speak with her, she might have more information. I try to make a business of not associating with her.
Right. Well, I shall head over there. It was really good seeing you.
Good to see you too, and I hope your
Hopefully,
investigation is fruitful.
hopefully I bring you back better news.
Please do.
I'm
And
gonna walk out and head to the administrative room
hmm,
to
it's
go
not
look for.
far from here to the administrative building, but you can go straight there or begin your investigation on the grounds.
I'm gonna. Before I go, I'm gonna see if I can investigate one of
Hmm.
these holes that he mentioned.
It's not hard to spot them. There's one maybe a good 30 feet away, and it's very apparent even from a distance. You can see that the earth has just been dug up as if something from beneath was just burrowing upwards. And it does look very much like you said, like a gopher hole, but it is far too large. And would you please give me a intelligence plus investigation roll?
Yes. Ooh, I have nothing there.
Yep, but you can do it anyway because even without specialization, you still have eyes.
Yep, this is a hole.
Yep, looking at it doesn't reveal much about it, but you still have some inkling that whatever is responsible for this is not a natural creature, just the size and the placement. Whatever it is would have had to burrow quite some distance beneath the ground before emerging. So, mhm. Would you like to continue looking around? So maybe use one of your abilities.
Mm, like when I heighten my senses, it could be like any of my senses,
Mm.
right?
It enhances
Or is it?
all of your senses, your
Uh,
sense of smell and sight and taste and your hearing. So,
well, I wanna in heighten my senses to see maybe I smell something or I.
all right. So give me an awareness plus wits, please.
Oh,
Oh dear.
oh, oh my!
That is two successes, but you did get a bestial failure. However, that does nothing since you succeeded. So, as you look around, you sniffing at the air, listening for sounds. There are, of course, the sounds of students talking and laughing in the distance. Music is being played. Difficult to tell much on that front, but you can faintly smell an unusual stench coming from the ground. It wasn't apparent before, just blended into the natural smells of the night. But now that you have this enhanced olfactory sense, you can detect that not far away, this just awful stink is present.
Does does it smell like a rotting flesh to me or?
Hmm. Give me an academics plus intelligence roll. Four successes. You think that it might be not something that you're very familiar with, but something that you know enough that you can probably guess it is. Mm, would you like to pursue the sense?
Um, Not quite yet. I still want to head over to the administrator's room to
Mm. So just
get more
making a
detail.
note of where you smelled it.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
also gonna turn off all the heightened senses.
Probably wise. There's lots of lights and students talking and moving around, and it'd be best to not be blinded when you walk inside.
But I'm gonna go look for Carissa and try to get a little bit more information.
Very wise. So the quad is very neatly maintained. You can see that the groundkeeper does his work well. There are, of course, pieces of litter here and there because where there are people, they will leave candy wrappers. But the building is pristine. As you make your way inside, fluorescent lights and air conditioning block out the slight heat in the night air. And ahead of you is a very professional looking woman behind a desk. She has short cropped blonde hair, very large ruby earrings, and she looks up at you with surprise.
Do I know her? Or is this the first
Hmm.
time meeting her?
You feel like you've seen her around the campus before, but you've never had any reason to talk to her prior to this. It seems like she might know who you are, though. Hello? Can I help you?
I'm just gonna walk over and be like, yes, Eugene said I should talk to you about a past problem.
Oh, Eugene did, and she looks a little annoyed at that fact. Obviously, they have a bit of a rivalry going on. Well, it's true. He has so far been unable to deal with the problem, and it is getting out of hand. Hmm. Even the Baron has been mildly concerned. Whatever is happening here is obviously not a good look, and for the college's well being, as well as for our well being, it is best if we can solve this quickly. So,
Has
go
has
ahead.
anyone gotten hurt?
Not that we know of. There have been a few startled students that have seen things, and we've had to clear up that matter. No masquerade breaches have happened, thank God. But whatever this is seems to be unnatural. And hmm, she gives you a few of the details on the names of the students who have seen. Most of them are day students, so they are off at home at the time. But she does tell you that they've spotted repeated sighting. They've heard of repeated sightings at this one particular location on the campus. Not too far away, there's a large fountain, constantly flowing water, and she says that they've heard sounds of animals nearby. That's where some of the eyes have been seen, and that is where many of these large holes have appeared.
These animal sounds, do they sound like a certain particular animal?
Hmm. Some of the students say it sounds like a wolf or some kind of screeching, maybe a bat. It's hard to say.
Hmm.
Hmm. And if there's anything I can do to assist you, please let me know.
um, is there any other information that is considerably new that isn't what Eugene has
Hmm.
already said?
Well, just earlier today, I did get a report that there was some kind of hmm, disturbance not too far from Eugene's shack. That honestly feels like it should be his business, but it did seem slightly suspicious, so perhaps looking into.
Do these happen during the day or do they happen during the night?
During
Do
the
you
day,
know?
just before sunset, I would say.
Hmm. Well, I will go take a look
Hmm.
and I will let you know if I find something.
Thank you very much for assisting with this. Hmm.
I'm gonna head out and
Hmm.
uh, hmm,
Where would you like to head first? Toward the large fountain where the sightings have been, or back towards Eugene's shack? Hmm. It's likely that the smell you detected earlier is linked to the disturbance.
uh, is there is this is there a possibility the smell's coming from where the direction of the water fountain might be?
Other direction, basically not too far apart, but a good several hundred meters.
Hmm. Hmm. They both sound like trouble to me.
Likely.
Uh, well, let's go find that wretched smell.
All right, so you double back to the way that you came, heading towards the groundkeeper's shack once again. And as you approach, even without your heightened senses this time, you can smell that faint stench, that rotting smell from somewhere near the tree line.
Hmm. Could I possibly go bother Eugene for like a possible flashlight?
Because you do have your heightened senses, but if you want to have more mundane means of lighting,
Yeah.
then of course. Hmm.
Hmm. So I could use my heightened senses and try to not be so obvious.
Hmm. Because there's
Let's
still
let's
plenty of
just.
light out, so with heightened
Is,
senses, you'd be able to see beneath the trees as easily as during the day.
so it's not like as dark as like
Not as dark as the basement you were just in.
then I will just use my heightened senses.
All right. The world comes alive with sights and smells and sounds, and it's perfectly easy to navigate with all of this light. Mm,
Do I see anything like particularly moving around?
so you're making your way toward the tree line, going to head in toward the
Yes.
scents.
Yeah, straight onwards to danger.
All right, so give me an awareness plus wits, please.
Awareness plus what?
Wits.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Would you like to use a willpower?
yes.
Okay. You did get a critical hit. Well, hold on a second. I saw the zeros. I'm still getting used to these dice. I wish they used the icons from the proper board game, but that is a critical hit. So you got 2 10s. And so that was a critical, which counts as 4 successes. Hmm. I just saw the beast and the zeros, and I was like, oh no. But that is a good thing. So, yes, you do,
Okay.
in fact, see many things all at once. There are faint traces of the scent of an animal. Smells like a very large one, if you had to guess. Like, nothing small gives off that kind of smell. And you also smell that pungent rotting from very close by as well. You can see a few disturbances, a cracked branch here, what looks like it might be a footprint over there. There's lots of signs of disturbance very close by.
Does this footprint look just human-like or animal-like?
It looks particularly inhuman. It is clawed.
Hmm. uh, how close am I to that pungent smell?
Very close, maybe 20 feet.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Hmm. Uh, I'm gonna still go towards the pungent smell, but I'm gonna try to be kind of sneaky about it.
All right. In that case, give me a dexterity plus stealth. And you're not sure what you're hiding from at this point, so I'm going to say the difficulty is only a 2, but
Stealth and
dexterity.
dexterity. It's just that
Just
I heard
stepping
some movement.
carefully.
You know, just
2
don't wanna.
successes. So you just delicately step your way towards the smell, trying to detect whatever the source is in the underbrush and making sure you don't step on any particularly brittle branches along the way. And as you round a very large tree, there it is right in front of you. And with your heightened senses, the smell is overpowering. Just the
Oh,
smell of rotting flesh. And there before you is the remains of a mauled student. Looks like they
oh.
were still wearing their backpack and their uni sweatshirt before they expired.
Okay, well, first I'm gonna turn off the heightened senses because that
Yes.
smell is just too
That
much.
smell is just making your eyes water, little drops of blood are welling
I'm
up at the
I'm
corners.
gonna try to search the body to see if I can find
Okay,
some form
so
of
give me
identification.
a medicine plus intelligence, please.
Medicine?
Mhm.
Plus intelligence. So much for no students getting harmed.
Jeez. Not that they were aware of, but unfortunately, it seems that there has been a victim now. And as you look at him, it's very clear what happened. He has large gashes through his sweater, and there's just blood welling from deep inside. It's dried by this point, of course. He looks like he's been out here for several days,
Oh my god.
decomposing. There are ants crawling all over him. It is an awful sight to behold, and the look of horror on his face is unmistakable. He saw what was coming and was unable to stop it.
Can I find some form of identification on this?
Would you like to search through his pockets?
Yes.
Okay, so you rifle through all of his pockets, just seeing if there's anything you can find, and there is a wallet in his front right pocket. And it has just a couple of dollar bills. It has a bus card, and it has an ID that says Jacobs. He was a fairly average student, it looks like, 20 years old, so probably his second year here. 5'8", 150 pounds, curly, dark hair. Mm,
I'm gonna. Sorry, I ran a message. Um, I'm gonna take the wallet and I'm just
okay.
gonna look at this poor kid and mutter, "I am so sorry."
Hmm.
And I'm
And
gonna try to hurry my way to the administrators to maybe I can see.
as you stand back up from investigating the body, you hear
Oh,
a
I hope
faint
I can
sound
die.
of disturbance behind you.
Vic kills you in the 0 session.
Yes.
I'm gonna turn to where I've heard the sound.
All right, so please give me an awareness plus wits. Oh my gosh. But you do hear behind you the sound of a something making heavy footsteps against the underbrush. And sounds like the cracking of a twig.
uh,
And are you taking a look in that direction?
yes.
You see a figure stalking towards you. It has long arms and what look like claws and glowing red eyes, and it is looking straight at you.
Oh shit, that's fine. Uh, what am I just only have like forget and uh
You could
heightened
try
senses.
to mesmerize whatever this is, but you would need to maintain eye contact with it, and there's no guarantee it would meet your eyes long enough for that to work. So,
Um, can I do something really stupid?
what do you want to do?
Uh, can I try to intimidate? That's why I said, can I try something really stupid?
Or do you want to perform, maybe? You have no intimidation skill. You do have very
Uh,
high charisma. You could try to talk it down if it's reasonable.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to talk it down because I don't
Alright.
know how intimidating a 5-foot girl
Fair
is.
enough. Yeah.
Hey, you
With
stay the
your
fuck away.
yes. So give me a persuasion plus charisma, please, and I need to roll for it.
Okay.
I'm just going to roll its
Persuasion and
willpower.
which one was it?
Persuasion and charisma.
Alright.
Let me see. I got 3 successes and you
I got
2.
2.
Would you like to use a willpower to re-roll a couple?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see. Probably a re-roll. Well, the only successes were on your hunger die, unfortunately. But let's see here. Let's go ahead and re-roll 3 of those for you. And 1 success. So that is 3 successes. So it's a very tense moment. You are staring down this creature, and what would you like to say to it?
Uh, hello. Um, we don't need to fight. Can we just maybe talk it out? Maybe,
Hmm,
or we can just pretend I didn't see it.
as this figure approaches you in the darkness, you can see it shifting. The long arms become a bit shorter. It becomes less hulking and monstrous. And once it's maybe 5 feet from you, it steps into a patch of moonlight, and you can see that it's a very disheveled looking young man. He has dirty hair and deep bags under his eyes, and he is baring his fangs at you. What are you doing in my territory?
Well, I received information that you have. I'm just going on assumptions. You could prove me wrong. That you've been startling some of the students and creating holes. And
Startling students. Yeah, I'm not surprised they've been startled. This is my hunting ground, though, and it's best if they stay away.
are you with someone, perhaps?
What do you mean?
Do you have a group, or are you just by yourself?
I'm by myself. I've been surviving out here for a while. Moved in a year ago. I've been keeping mostly to myself, but mm, with everything that's happened lately, maybe I've been getting too bold. I assume that's why you're here. Somebody sent you?
Yes, I'm only out here because this has stirred up quite a bit of a problem.
And he sighs a little bit, and he actually looks unhappy about this news, a little remorseful maybe. Like I didn't want to cause any trouble, but it's hard to feed around here. I well, let's just say I found a spot where I could grab a decent meal, and I made myself at home.
But aren't you a little concerned that I'm gonna look towards the body and someone might come looking for this?
Look, that was an accident, he points at the corpse. It's not my fault that he walked up on me when I was feeding normally. I had no choice but to dispatch him. I haven't killed anyone else, you know. I always take just what I need and let them go. Maybe they remember seeing a wolf or heard a sound, but he's the only one that's forced me to take action.
And are those holes yours that are out on the campus?
Yes, some of my familiars. I try to keep them on a tight leash.
Oh, what are these familiars?
Oh, you've met some of the moles around here, haven't you? I maybe I lied a little bit when I said they're on a tight leash. Sometimes it's fun to encourage them to cause trouble. Never anything permanent, though. if that lazy groundskeeper would do his job, he could fill these in an afternoon.
Yes, but he does have to do other jobs, so it might be a bit kind of a. He does need his little breaks from time to time, but when I look at him, can I tell exactly what he might be?
Well, you are fairly certain he's a gangrel, based on his protean form and his disheveled appearance.
But he says he's by himself, so does. Am I just to assume that he has
Hmm.
no sire?
He might have a sire out there. You could try asking him.
Oh, do you have a sire that you talk to, or did he
Hmm?
leave?
What do you mean by that? He
Uh,
looks at you very confused. This is something he's not familiar with.
how long have you been like this?
Maybe a year or so, just before I came here.
Um, do
Hmm.
you perhaps maybe know who you were with before you turned?
I was a student here a long time ago, but it's all a little hazy. I don't know. I don't remember much about before. I just remember the hunger, and I remember coming here and feeding. And I've
You said
been.
you were a student. Might I ask your name?
Hmm. He looks down at the ground for a second before he looks up and says, James. James Taylor.
God damn it! I was gonna make a Taylor Lautner joke too. Oh, I see. So, did you just wake up like this by yourself?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't remember a lot. It was a long time ago, and even then the memories were hazy, but something attacked me when I was walking home one night, and I when I woke up I didn't know what to do, so I ran. I hid in the woods for a long time. And now well, I've settled into a routine, doing the best I can. I can't go back. I can't go home. Not like this.
What exactly are you feeding on while you're out here?
Mm, sometimes animals. Sometimes I drink from the students. Never in sight of anyone else. I'm not stupid. I don't want to get caught.
And whenever they see you, they only describe you as a wolf?
Yeah. I found out really early on that I could transform, so I've practiced a lot. And I know it's a little bit close to, downtown for there to be any wild animals out here, but people don't seem to question it too much. At best, they get scared and run away.
Mm. Can I kind of like briefly run down,
Do you want to
like not
explain the
like
masquerade to him and kindred?
explain it to him because he seems very lost and very confused when I ask him about things.
Hmm. He'll listen to you if you want to take time to explain it.
Okay, I'll take time to explain it to him.
Hmm. Wow. A prince, you say? That sounds really rich. I never heard anything about that when I was alive.
Uh, yeah, but it's because it's a secret.
Hmm. Well, could I meet this prince? Or somebody to tell me what the hell's going on? Because I've just been alone for such a long time, and for a moment he looks really remorseful and lost.
I'm sure I can find someone to for you to talk to and help you out.
Hmm. I think I'd like that, and He looks at poor Rich on the ground and says, I didn't mean it, honest. It just
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry. I'm gonna pull out my phone and call Draven.
Mm. He answers very promptly. Yes, ma'am. Is there anything I can do for you?
I would. I need a favor.
Of course. What is it?
We have a little of an accident, and I would like you to properly hide or dispose of a certain body
Of
on
course.
the
And
campus.
he asks your whereabouts, and as soon as you tell him, he says, I'll be right there, and hangs up the phone. And
I'll get this handled. Move back to. I forgot his name.
who are you
It's 'cause
thinking? The groundskeeper?
No, I was thinking about Taylor Lautner again.
The question is what you do with him now that you've found him. Do you want to
I'm
take
gonna.
him to your sire or to the prince, like he asked?
Oh
Or do you
my
want
god, I don't
to
know how that's
start
gonna
by
turn out.
talking to the groundskeeper or the administrator?
I'm gonna. I'm gonna look at him and I'm gonna be like, you do owe the groundskeeper a bit of an apology. I'm just saying. You did tear up his lawn that he works very hard on.
Yeah, well, I guess I could apologize. It was funny though.
As it is funny, but I mean, maybe he can also help us out to find someone to talk to.
Hmm. I guess we could talk to him. Is he far?
No, he lives in the shack.
Oh, that guy? Oh, he looks a little
Yeah,
bit surprised.
yeah,
Hmm.
that guy.
I mostly stay on the edges of the campus. I try not to go too far onto the property. I know they wouldn't be happy, but I guess even this part of the woods counts as theirs.
Is he like a bloody mess right now?
Not really. He's disheveled and dirty, but he's not caked in blood or anything. He's, if
I'm
anything, he looks
just
homeless.
I'm just gonna like take off the jacket and just throw it on his shoulders and just put my hat on him and I'm gonna say, "Come, let's go talk to Eugene."
All right. And he follows you.
Gotta give him a bit of a fashion sense.
Of course.
Oh,
It's a very stylish jacket, so he looks
it
way better
is.
immediately.
You could pull off as a fashion model, maybe. We're gonna walk up to Eugene's door and I'm gonna lightly knock on it and be like, Eugene, darling.
Hmm. He answers and he looks very surprised to see James standing beside you. What? Who is this?
I found your whole culprit.
Oh, it was you. And immediately he gets really hostile. So, what was the big idea? What were you trying to accomplish,
I'm gonna be like,
jackass?
hey, let's be civil and go inside and
Okay.
I got some things to explain to you.
Hmm. Eugene kind of backs off a little bit and allows you both to enter.
I'm gonna like sit down at the table again and so he knows nothing at all about the masquerade
At all.
at all. He said he was attacked and then he just woke up like that.
Hmm. It's not often we find a caitiff around here, but I I suppose we should report this to someone. Maybe the gangrel primogen? I don't know.
Is there certain someone we can talk to that probably won't be as strict towards him since he doesn't really know
He
anything?
sighs very deeply and he is clearly reluctant to say this, but you should probably go and talk to Clarissa and see about taking him to the Baron because, to be perfectly honest, he'll never be properly welcome in Kinder's society as long as he sticks with the Camarilla. I think he'd have a better luck with the Anarchs. Ugh, and he just looks disgusted with himself for saying this.
I'm gonna like place my hand on Eugene's hand and like thank you for your help so
Mhm.
much.
Well, just remember to tell my master that I did a good job, okay?
I
And
will,
he looks very
and then
hopeful.
I'm gonna look over. I'm gonna look over, and I'm gonna give. His name's James, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna give James a look of apologize.
Yeah. Hmm. He says he just looks very reluctant at this point, but resigned at the same time. Okay, let's take me wherever I need to go.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna head to Clarissa. Right, she's on
Mm.
administrative room.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes. And once again, a similar response as soon as you enter with this disheveled man wearing a very stylish jacket. Her
I
eyes.
tried to make him look
Bring up.
nice.
And he does look much nicer, you have to admit. But she immediately suspects who it is that you've brought to her, but asks anyway for the sake of courtesy, who is our guest?
This is the wolf that everyone cries about.
Oh, you don't say. She stands up from her desk and approaches. She's a little bit taller than him in heels, and she looks down at him and says, "So you've been causing the trouble. Hmm. Well, it's a good thing that no one was hurt by your antics. It's been such a problem for such a long time, and I'm glad we can finally put a rest to this." Hmm.
Yeah, about that.
Are you gonna
And
tell
I'm just
her?
gonna, uh, I'll be like, I'll talk to you about that later, but
Mhm.
first, he knows nothing, and I'm hoping we can possibly talk to someone nicer to him. Because he said
Hmm.
he was attacked and he woke up like that.
Hmm. Well, that's very concerning if it happened in our domain. I'll have to speak to my master about it. But you should take him to see Zane. The Baron is in his nightclub almost all the time these days. Hmm.
Okay, Zane. Alright then. Um, and then I'm just gonna look at James and I'm like, could you step out for a bit?
He looks a little bit wary at the two of you, almost sure that you're going to double cross him somehow. But he steps outside of the office, giving you a moment of privacy.
What was his name? Rich? Right? The
Uh,
kid that was
yes,
dead?
Rich Jacobs.
Rich Jacobs. I'm just gonna like ask her, I'm like, do you know a student by Rich Jacobs?
He was on our varsity track team. What about him? He's been missing for the last few days. Do you know anything? Are you going to give her the wallet?
Mm,
Or will you keep this secret to yourself?
I will keep the secret to myself because I don't know what
Hmm.
they're gonna do to him. But I'll be like, I'm just wondering because I heard some students talking about him and I was just curious.
Well, we hope wherever he's gone to that he comes back soon. Honestly, the team hasn't been the same without him. But
I'm just a horrible person. I've liked two people in a row.
Hmm.
Well, hopefully he comes back and I will go see the same person and try to sort out this little mess.
All right. I will call ahead and let him know you're coming.
Thank you. And I'm gonna walk out and kind of like pull James towards the car and
Hmm.
look at Raven and be like, to the nightclub.
Yes, Draven arrived sometime before, and you can see that he has already finished mm, cleaning up the mess. He takes
Oh,
off
so
a
he's there
pair
too?
of medical gloves, of course. Mm,
Okay. I'll be like, Draven, come with me just in case.
mm. Shall I drive my car behind, in the back? Keep an eye on you.
Yes, but don't drive too close. Just a
And
little far
when should
behind.
I dispose of the object?
Uh, dispose of it first. We'll just be at the nightclub if you want to catch up later with us.
Hmm, very well. And you give him the details, and he heads back to his car. Hmm.
Oh man. uh,
Raven opens the door and allows you to enter the car, and with a bit of a sniff, she lets James in after you.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna pull out one of the little scented, nice flowery smell perfumes
Are you going
pouches that
to?
I have. I'm just gonna hand it to Raven.
She says thank you very discreetly and then climbs into the driver's seat. Hmm,
To the nightclub, please, Raven.
of course. And without another word, she sets off. It's a bit of a drive to get there, heading straight into the center of downtown. There is plenty of people still out milling about. It's getting to be about midnight at this point, and the streets are pretty empty now, so it's quick to get over there. Once you approach the club, however, you can see that it is still in full swing. Even as you drive up, there is a line at the door waiting to get in, even at this time of night. Mm, There is a very intimidating bouncer outside, and you can see from the crack in the door that it is just packed with people.
Fun.
Yes.
I'm gonna look at James and I'm gonna be like, stay close. Don't get lost.
Yes. He nods his head and follows you out.
I'm gonna tell Raven to stay by the car.
Hmm. She's used to this.
I don't want to put Raven into danger. She's so sweet.
Hmm.
I'm gonna walk up to the bouncer and be like, Zane is expecting us.
He looks down at you and he says, of course. He also looks at James and he narrows his eyes a little bit. Is he with you?
Yes, he's with me.
He considers it for a moment and says, go in. Few of the people in line near the front look at you just with open looks of, ugh, who is this person that gets to cut in line before me?
So I'm gonna be like, I knew that hat would work. um, where is there like a certain VIP place in
Well,
the
once you
club?
enter the club, the sound of music is overwhelming. There are people packed in. It's a little past midnight now, but there are a good 60 people crammed into the two levels of this building. There is a bar that is still actively serving drinks. The waiters and waitresses are grabbing pitchers of beer and cocktails and taking them to tables and then circling back to do it again. It is just bumping and the alcohol is flowing and everyone is having a great time. In the back corner of the club, however, you can see a man sitting by himself at a table. And he looks very serious.
And I'm gonna look over at James. Please stay close by.
Okay, you take the lead. And he
And I'm gonna walk my way to Mr. Serious Guy in the corner.
And as he follows you, if he was an animal form, James's hackles would be raised at this moment, but he sticks close behind. And once you arrive at the booth, the man, who you can only assume is Zane, welcomes you warmly. Once he sees you, his face brightens up a little bit. Oh, hello. Please sit down. I don't think we've had the pleasure. You are?
I'm gonna sit down right next to him and I'm gonna hold out my hand to shake and I'm like, I'm Luna. It's
Well,
a
it's very
pleasure to
nice
meet
to
you.
meet you, Luna. And who is this?
This is James.
He looks him down, up and down critically, and he clearly has some idea of what's going on. He,
Clarissa said I should come see you about this.
yeah, she did. She gave me some details. So you found this one up on the campus. Did you know that that is part of my domain, young man? And James kind of lowers his head and he says, I guess I figured that something I probably had control of that area, but I was hungry and I needed somewhere to stay. And I did what I had to do. Gets very defensive.
He actually knows nothing. No one's taught him anything. He woke up like
Nothing.
this. He said he was
Zane
attacked.
seems very interested in that fact. You. He kind of glances around because of all the noise and because of the press of bodies and just because this is his club, so only the people he wants to get in come in. He isn't too worried about being overheard, but he leans across the table and says he knows nothing at all about the masquerade.
I briefly explained it to him when I met him, but he knew nothing about anything. He doesn't know who his Osiris is.
Well, that's
I mean,
definitely.
sire. I don't know why I said Osiris.
I'm going to
My
correct
hand's
you.
like, I gotta check. I meant sire.
Yes, it's okay. And he says, that is troublesome. What do you want from me? What should I do to resolve this situation? I can't have Caitiff running around my territory without any instruction or mentorship.
I came to you to ask for advice on what exactly I should do with them. He wanted to speak to the prince, but I was like, I'm gonna go talk to someone else first.
He laughs a little bit. Yeah, that would be a very bad idea. He would.
Yeah.
Those ivory tower busybodies, they just. He wouldn't be allowed past the security gate. But I think we can find a place for him. Well, I've talked to Clarissa, and she's told me about all the trouble that you've caused up there. I think if you want a place, maybe that is where you should start. I have a few men in the area who can instruct you. And, well, I think with a little training, you could be a upstanding member of our society. And I can promise you this, I will find whoever it is that made you and see that they are accounted for. James looks very relieved at all of this and bows his head a little bit. Thank you. I don't know who you are or what any of this is about, really, but I can tell you're helping me, so thank you. And
I'm gonna like really quickly be like, oh yeah, don't tell anyone about the thing, like your changes or anything.
I haven't. I mean, I've just been by myself. I couldn't go back to my dorm after all of this, and I've just been living in the woods since. And Zane says, "Well, you've done good then, because if you had told anyone," he leans in, and for a moment he looks very serious, "then I'd have to kill you." And James gulps a little bit. Well, for now, I hate to impose on you, Luna, right?
Yes.
You might not be one of mine, but just so you know, we are always welcoming to any kindred who wishes to become one of our movements. But I won't keep you any longer. If you could please help this young man find his way back where he came from, I'll put him in touch with some people who can give him the education he needs. He gives
Okay.
James a little wink.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your help.
You're very welcome. Always happy to help the kindred of this city.
Let me just give him one of those friendly hugs.
Hmm. So where are you off to next?
I'm gonna take him back.
Hmm.
But first, actually, we're gonna walk out to the car and I'm gonna turn to James and be like, "Do you have a phone by any chance?"
I had one, but I lost it a while ago. I think the batteries died, and I I just threw it away.
Uh, well, we'll get you a phone. I'll get you a phone. So that way I can keep tabs on you and you can call me whenever you need help, okay?
Okay, and he's very shocked by this generous move, but he seems genuinely grateful.
But I am gonna need my jacket and my hat back.
He reluctantly gives you back the jacket. You know, I liked that one.
I'll help you with some clothes if you need some.
He definitely does, because everything he's wearing is tattered and looks like it has seen all of the elements every day.
Is Raven standing outside or is Raven in the car?
She's still in the car.
I'm gonna walk over and like tap on the window to Raven.
Mm. Yes. What can I do for you, ma'am?
I'm gonna have you a little busy tomorrow.
Hmm. All right. Well,
I
just
really hate to ask you for this, but could you possibly get him a phone?
Oh, of course. That's no
And
trouble at all.
I'm gonna look over at his attire and I'm gonna give her the look of he needs some clothes.
She shares your opinion, and she just gives you a subtle little nod.
Wonderful.
Mm.
We're gonna take him back now.
Would you like me to take him?
Uh,
You can take some time enjoying the nightlife if you wish.
I'll turn to James. Will you be fine by yourself?
He tries to put on a brave face and says, "Yeah, yes, of course. I
Raven,
thank you
Raven
for
is a
everything you've done."
wonderful person. Don't worry.
Well, so are you. And if he could blush, he would.
uh, well, when Raven can, she will give you a phone and clothes, and she will put my contacts in there. So whenever you need help, you can call me.
Okay, thank you, and I hope I see you again.
I hope so too. And no more digging up holes, please.
All right, fine. He seems a little disappointed.
Or if you do, don't do it where it's obvious.
Gives you a very sagely nod. I'll do my best.
I'm gonna like open the door and let him go in to the car.
And then after you shut the door, they drive away into the night. You're now in the center of downtown, and both of your goals are occupied for a while, so you have a little time to yourself. Before you can do much, though, your phone rings.
Ooh, I'm gonna pick it up.
Hmm. The voice on the other end is unmistakably Leo's. I got it! I got it!
Oh my god.
Sounds like he's on a train, maybe. The reception isn't great, but
Oh
he
my
just seems
god, Leo,
ecstatic.
where are you?
I'm riding the metro. I'm headed back up to the U district, but I got it. And he just sounds elated.
Well, I mean, I don't have a ride there, but
Oh,
keep me posted.
okay. I'll keep you in the know. Just come to the chantry the next chance you have, and we can look it over together. And he's just beaming, like you can hear through the phone that he is he is so satisfied with himself.
He's like a giant dork, and I love him.
Mm.
uh, alright. I will definitely for sure come the next time when I actually. I'll come. I'll probably try to come tomorrow, maybe.
Okay, perfect. I'll see you then. Have a good sleep. And he hangs up the phone.
How close is it to like sunrise?
It's about getting towards 1 a.m. now. It's
Okay.
still a good 5 hours, give or take. You know, the sunrise is pretty early these days, but you've still got at least till 5, 6 a.m.
I'm gonna saunter my way back into the club to go dance the night away. Well, dance and try to find myself some interesting people.
Hmm. And there are definitely more than a few. You see all kinds of people in here, and there are kindred, there are ghouls, and there are also just some human club goers who don't know any better but just enjoy the mood. Mm. Anyone in particular you're going to try and talk to, gonna have a look around and see if anyone catches your eye?
Yeah, I'm gonna just walk around and see if anyone catches my eye. Maybe
Hmm.
someone I might know.
Of course. Give me a awareness plus wits, please.
Uh,
Oh dear.
oh, all my cools are gone.
Oh no. Would you like to re-roll a few of those? I
Uh,
mean, well,
oh,
you do get one success, so the bestial failure is negated. That could have been bad, but Um, no one in particular catches your eye. There are some handsome men and beautiful women, and some kindred seem like they've been through many nights out in the jihad. A little bit of a respite lately since the Sabbat have backed off from Washington, but even so, they're always tense and ready for a new fight, and the servers are tired, still carting around blood and wine in equal measure, although very discreetly, so the human patrons won't notice.
can I like wave over one of them to grab like one of the bloods?
Of course, waitress approaches you and she takes your order, slips behind the counter and returns with a steaming cup and gives it to you with a big smile.
I'm gonna smile and say thank you.
You're very welcome. And then she rushes off to another patron who has flagged her down.
I'm gonna just drink it and then I'm gonna shoot a text to. I have Fame's number, right?
Of course, he's your sire, so he's one of the main ones
Alright.
you'll be talking
I'm
to.
gonna, I'm gonna shoot him a message and be like, hypothetically, if someone were to kill someone and they haven't found the body, what would happen to them? Is there a kindred?
Uh, he texts back, question mark, question mark, question mark. Uh, anything in particular? Like, what is the problem? People go
No,
missing all the
I'm,
time.
I'm just thinking, like, what if, like, would there be consequences if, like, the body wasn't found?
Mm, little ellipses says Fame is typing, and then he says we should really discuss this in person. This sounds serious, and it's
I'm
wise
like,
to not do these things over text.
I have no ride. All my goals are gone, and I'm gonna send a sad face.
You could, of course, catch the metro to where you need to go.
Does Fame
Because
say that, or is that just a note?
just something I'm saying as a narrator note.
That's true.
Because, of course, you know your way around the city. And even if you typically are driven by one of your goals, you do know how to catch public
Yeah.
transportation.
Well, first I'm gonna be like, you should come over here and, like, have a drink with me and enjoy the night. And I'm gonna send him, like, a party email.
He texts back, where are you at?
I'm gonna text him the nightclub.
And he sees the name and he's like, oh, you're at the Baron's place? Oh, my child. I don't know why you're associating with the Anarchs.
I'm
You should
stuck
come
here.
here to civilized territory.
I'm gonna be like, I'm stuck here, Fame. I set my goals to run errands for me. And I really don't want to go on the metro.
He sends you back a thinking emote. Tell you what, I'll come get you.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna send him a little heart. Thanks.
And sure enough, within 10 minutes, he rolls up in his luxury car. You're not sure where he keeps it because there isn't much parking around the Chantry, but he clearly has it stowed somewhere, and it is a very slick ride, very lush and inviting.
I'm gonna walk over and be like, now this is how a girl should go home.
And his ghoul opens the door for you and enables you to get inside. It's very oh my god. He is a very svelte gentleman in a suit, you know.
Shut up, Vince.
Oh my gosh. And Sakura, I'm looking for you. 1 second. Animalism, fortitude, and protean. So no celerity. But you could always train in it, but we'll talk about that later. So as you are riding towards the Chantry in his car, you have a lot of time to think about everything that's happened so far. The night is wearing on now. It's getting towards 2 a.m. and the sun will be up in a matter of hours, but there are still unanswered questions to be resolved. How are you feeling at the moment?
I have evidence in my hand. I should have given Draven the wallet.
Probably.
It's
Just
just gonna
carrying
stay in
around.
my satchel until I see him again.
Yeah, that's a potentially ticking time bomb, but
I like totally forgot about that. I was like, God damn it! I forgot I have the wallet with me.
Wow. You arrive at the Chantry before much longer, where you hop out of the car and Fame escorts you up the steps to the doors. And as soon as you are inside, Leo is waiting for you. He has this old tome tucked into his arms, and you can see a little bit of blood on his wrist. He looks disheveled. He has been running, and he seems like he's been up to something.
I'll be like, oh my god, and then I'm gonna like walk over to Leo. We should sit you down. Fame, we'll talk about what I texted you later, and I'm just like hurry him away.
Fame says, okay. It did sound serious though, so make sure you see me about it soon.
It was my oh shit moment that I realized I shouldn't say anything. But I'm gonna sit Leo down and be like, are you okay? You're bleeding. Are you all right?
He says, "Oh, I am better than all right," and he just holds up his prize in front of you. It's this very ancient-looking tome, and it has writing in it that you don't recognize at all. But Leo is just shaking. He is out of this world with excitement. This is it. This is our ticket out. Oh, we can go back to having normal lives again. God, I want to go home.
Uh, yeah, but you still haven't answered my question on why you're leaving.
Oh, I had a little trouble. I ran into this guy. I I had to use him a little bit to get to the tome, but look, that's not important. What is important that it's here in my hands, and this is it. I can finally be free of all of this. I just. He clutches the tome protectively to his chest and says, I need to study this, and I could use your help.
Sure, whatever you need.
Oh, thank you. He says, all right, time is short tonight, and this is going to be a big project, so I tell you what, you were here with your sire, right? You should talk to him about whatever it was he needed, and we'll start on this tomorrow. All right, tomorrow.
Sure, tomorrow.
And he practically skips off with the book in arms.
I'm just gonna sign. You're like, damn it, under my breath.
So are you going to go see Fame?
Nope.
No. I'm just gonna bail.
Did I still need to report back up to that one guy on the third floor?
It'd probably be best to talk to the regent and let him know everything that's happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to the third floor.
As soon as you enter, he has a very serious look on his face. He clearly has some idea of what has happened in the night, even if he doesn't know all the details.
And be like, I am back, and give him one of those like tired smiles.
He gives you a smile back that doesn't seem entirely warm, and he says, "Welcome back. I've heard some things in the last hours that are troubling to me, but please have a seat and we will talk."
I sit down and I'll be like, well, I found out who's been causing all the holes, and
And I heard that you brought a caitiff to the Anarchs, and now he is headed up to the college in my domain.
I'm still trying to sort things out because I am a little confused and concerned. He did say that he was attacked and he just woke up like that. And I'm sorry I took him over there. I was just trying to figure out how to sort this out quickly to come back and discuss things with you.
Takes a deep breath and lets it out slowly. Of course, as vampires, there is no need to breathe, but this is purely for a dramatic effect.
Yeah.
He looks you over and says, I'm sure you did what you thought was best, and at least now the grounds should be undisturbed for the time being. So that's a positive.
And I will, if you would like, I will occasionally stop by and inspect the grounds.
If you could, it would be appreciated.
Yes, I will keep tabs on him.
Very well. Also, it would seem that some of our neonates have been engaging in burglary.
Oh my god.
What is it that your friend returned with earlier?
could I try to lie and be like?
Absolutely. If you do want to
I'm
lie
gonna
to
try
him,
to.
though, you'll have to contest wills with him. Give
Uh,
me a. Let me double check sheets. Give me a manipulation plus persuasion. Difficulty is going to be 3.
Sweet. Oh, okay.
No
Damn it.
successes. He sees straight through. He's like, come on, tell me the truth.
He brought a tome with him, and I really don't know much details. He's been excited about it, and he's been very vague with me as well. But it was a tomb that had old writing in it.
Well, we have many tomes with old writing in here, but whatever it is, I'm very concerned that my neonates are engaging in larceny. Well, I'll deal with the matter. But for now, thank you for your service, and I trust that you will continue to use your better judgment in executing your duties as one Clan Jameer.
I will.
Very good. And he waves you out of his office.
Let's just say thank you. Just walk out. Oh man, if all the times I need the lying to work, it doesn't work.
He's a sharp guy, though. He could see through many things.
I'm just gonna find Fame and just gonna slip over at him.
Okay. He is right where you expect him to be, exactly where you found him before. He is reading the same book, it looks like, but he's maybe another third of the way through it.
This is a really big book.
Yes, it is. It's one of those old hardbound books with the leather covers that probably has 1,000 pages, and he's finished a good 300 or so in the last few hours.
I'm just gonna kind of like dramatically sigh and be like, why? Why me?
He looks up with concern and gets up from the table, comes over to put an arm around your shoulder. Oh, my child, what have you gotten yourself into?
Apparently, I now gotta keep tabs on the past.
Well, and this is what happened when you involve yourself with things, but it's inevitable in this life. Just make sure that you take care and always remember my teachings.
Is there any advice you can give me about keeping an eye on him?
Any advice? Well, keep an eye on him and use a light hand. Don't try to be overbearing. And remember that it's not your job to be his mentor. You just need to keep tabs on him for the Regent. So long as you do that, everyone will be happy.
But he didn't look so happy. No, I'm referring to the guy on the third floor, not James.
Of course. He is rarely happy. But it's best to stay on his good side regardless.
Yeah, I'll try.
That's all I can ask.
I'm gonna quickly like text Raven and Draven and see if any one of them are like close by.
Draven reports that he has successfully disposed of the object and says that he is going to head back home, but he can give you a ride if necessary.
I'm
And
gonna text him, but please.
And Raven, after a delay, says that she has dropped off James and is heading back home.
Okay.
So you're going to catch a ride from Draven.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch a ride with Draven.
All right. Do you want to say anything to Raven before she heads back? Just tell her good night, maybe.
Yeah, I'll be like, good night, Raven. You did well, and I'm so sorry I had you do all this stuff.
It's okay. I'm always here to serve you, and I just look forward to seeing you tomorrow night.
She's so sweet.
Yes.
And I'm literally gonna text them like, Raven, you're so sweet.
She sends back heart, heart, heart.
And then I shoot a text to Draven and be like, just let me know when you're outside.
Will do. Be there shortly.
And then I'll look at Faye and I'm like, I'm gonna go home and, think about all this.
That's probably for the best. Well, and in short matter of time, he arrives, picks you up in his car, and zips you back home just before dawn begins to break.
Yes.
And you do still have some hunger, so would you like to do anything about that before the night is over? Perhaps you have some blood in storage, or do you want to try and see if you can feed a little bit from Draven?
Yeah, I tried it this other day. I don't have any stored right now. I'm being like, try to feed off with Draven.
As soon as you even imply that you are hungry, he immediately bares his neck and says, "Please drink with me."
Hot.
And as you bite into his neck, you begin to drink, and his blood is phlegmatic. It's subservient and loyal, and he would do anything for you. He lives to be your servant and yours alone. And how deeply are you going to drink? Just enough to take away one hunger that you gained earlier?
How much is like too much?
He is a very healthy man, but every time you drain a hunger away from him, he's going to progressively become more and more disoriented. And if you take, he has 5 health, so if you take away any more than 3, he's going to need medical attention.
I'm just gonna take 2.
Take 2? Alright. And so your hunger is sated for the time being. And he looks a little bit woozy, but he is also very pleased. And he says, I just need to lie down for a minute before I start my watch for the day. But
go right ahead.
he goes to lie down on the couch, and he just kind of zones out as soon as he's lying back. And sunlight is beginning to peek over the horizon, and you feel your body beginning to shut down on you. It was not made to exist during the day, and so you find your way back to your secure chamber where you can be safe for the night and fall into that deep sleep until you awake the following evening. And I'll stop it there.
Alright. Fucking mints.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, if I have
God damn it.
balls, I'm gonna take advantage of that, even if it does seem a little sexual.
Gone wrong, gone sexual, gone dirty. Damn it.
You know what's funny about the whole Draven thing? I was literally just thinking about League of Legends when I told her.
I knew it.
And then I was like, it's also Raven, Draven. It's so easy to remember.
Yeah, I know. That's why you picked it. Also, we had an opportunity to meet.
Yeah. I was trying to push for it.
Yes.
But I didn't want to force it, so.
The Metro.
Or at the university if she had gone back.
Wait, really?
Yeah, if she had ridden, been in the car with Raven dropping off, James might have spotted you.
I'm so upset.
Mhm.
I really waste my time on a Metroid.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck your fancy ass car. Fuck your really like
Listen.
loyal ass ghouls. Fuck everything.
Listen, I want to make sure Wolfboy is okay. And I like spending time with my sire.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
tell.
I am
miss mine.
purposely making him sexy in the drawing.
God damn it, of course you would. I just miss my sire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's currently in hiding, but he'll be back.
Mmm.
He just needs time to heal.
Well, just freaking Blanks here being super antisocial. Only socially with the fucking NPCs. We don't even know where is Sakura.
Well, after you parted ways, he went back home, but
Oh, and I was taking refuge to my new home, temporary home.
I didn't go back home.
Listen,
I went towards the museum.
I had some things to do.
Uh-huh. You mean excuses.
I was making sure Wolfboy actually had some decent stuff. I'm gonna just call him Wolfboy because he keeps reminding me of Taylor Lautner.
That's rude. You're rude.
I gotta get rid of that evidence.
You better be careful if you do it. You know what? No, we're gonna see.
You better watch out. You better watch out.
Vic-
I know the consequences.
Vic, do you have a general
Tiny
idea how we're
closed
gonna
door.
smash these nerds together?
well, I've already dropped a lot of clues that will at least drop Sakura and Blank together, and I have ideas for how to get you there too.
We'll see. I'll figure it out.
Yep.
Many lies,
But-
one truth.
Yes. But for the time being, that'll be all for this session, and that concludes our last session 0 for Vampire the Masquerade, Solemn Nights. And when we resume on Friday, we will have our first episode, the first chapter of our story, The Things Kindred Say.
Chapter 1.
Can I get
I
an
saw-
F for Leo? Oh no. Poor Leo.
Yeah, poor Leo.
Oh no, I couldn't even lie. I had like the shittiest roll with that.
It's okay.
0.
But man, that Leo guy. You like
That
him,
Leo
don't you?
guy. He's funny. Like, obviously, like, I think his methods are extreme because, you know, and
Yeah,
More
but he got the
exciting
job done.
but my sire.
Oh my god, you need to calm down. Calm your britches.
Your thoughts, Sakura?
Well, actually,
Uh,
Luna is more of a social get around type of gal.
I swear to god,
Yes.
if you always end up using that damn car, I'm gonna be mad.
gotta ride in style every day
Get
or
you
every night. Long.
right. Literally, your
It's
sire's
okay.
also getting some bitches.
Dude, he's supposed to be famous, obviously.
Because he's trying to get all the
No,
plus.
I'm a purposely piss you off and be like, Draven, carry me.
No, I'm just gonna make fun of that. The Leagues of Draven. Draven Ball Z.
Oh my god.
Blank wanting
I
to
was,
fuck the League of Legends character.
I was gonna ask, have you already seen over the things that I did to Oil Sheet?
I saw a bit of it. Have you done more since like the last day?
I'm just looking over the other things that you've added.
Yeah. I added a little bit just to, like her front page. I need to get her stats and stuff set up, just in line with like standard ghoul allotments, but
Yeah.
and
Ooh,
I
who
don't
is
think I'll
that?
go so far as to set like touchstones and things. She's someone you'll meet very soon.
Indeed.
Are these like NPC character? Or?
Ooh,
Yeah.
look, spoils.
Oh, this spoils.
Oh, dear,
So
spoils.
many spoils.
Not
It's
enough
okay if a little
collab.
spoiled.
I have a dagger now.
Yay.
And you're
And
happy to
that's going
see
be
us?
my
and
gosh.
stab someone. Oh,
Let's stab.
Damn.
damn.
It's okay. I got like left hand claw, strike laser claw, stab, stab,
Are
stab.
you the slash singing slasher? Or whatever
A
it's
hash
called? The hash singing
sling,
slasher.
smash, singing, dash, dinging, bash the stampede. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Vash the Stampede.
Oh, he was a sexy man. Did you see him whenever he has shirt, like no shirt on? He literally is missing a nipple.
Oh no.
It's okay. Guys don't really need their nipples.
But it's still part of him. How dare you? And he has a weird metal piece. I'm
Some
surprised
guys
that
actually
didn't rusted.
remove their nipples.
Wait, what?
Some guys actually remove their nipples.
Apparently, which is weird. Also, like, friggin'. Didn't anyone notice that Vash has like a metal plate on his chest?
Yeah.
Wouldn't he get like tetanus or whatever if it rusts?
No, it's fine.
But
No, it's fine.
no, but
It's fine.
it's metal.
It's fine.
But tetanus.
It's fine.
But tetanus shots.
Fine.
They're probably not a thing in this world.
It's fine.
You say it's fine, but it's actually not fine. Vash,
Isn't there
no.
like a lot of characters with like metal like body parts?
I mean, that's true, but you can always use like lubrication.
Oh my
How to
goodness.
use lubrication.
Alright, time to end the stream.
Damn it.
Strong end.
The League of Chesticles.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
It's time to stop.
It's never time to stop. Gotta get in there.
Oh my goodness.
Alright, that is it for the stream. It will be re-uploaded later on today. Look forward to those that are curious about the continuation, as chapter 1 will start this Friday. Take care, good night, and remember, the League of Draven. Draven.
Shut
Oh my
Draven.
Oh, I will kill you.
You gotta find me first. Whoop!
Oh my goodness.
Wait, I think you didn't do a modifier, by the way, for one of them. The rolls.
Which one?
Whenever she activated enhanced senses, whenever she was trying to react to something, that you didn't add a +1 to the modifier.
You're probably right.
That was redone. Good night!
Night.